we have too many practices that don't seem to be serving us collectively and solving our problems. One thing I've been observing is religion, right? Are the religions practiced by Black people in America helping them deal with the spiritual, mental, family, and economic challenges they're experiencing in today's society?
Who's first?
I'm gonna start first because I believe mine is gonna be 100% pessimistic. I do not believe that collectively. I'm not saying that there's not. Yeah, collectively. I don't think that collectively, the vast majority of, and I say the vast majority, I don't know of many churches that are feeding the community like the Nation of Islam does for decades, that have farms, right? So the outlier does not mean that the general public is in alignment with it. That's almost like the exception. So if overall the practices that we're doing, are they economically, spiritually, and physically empowering our communities? Absolutely not. When you talk about, this talking point, everyone knows it is true. During Jim Crow, the Black community was advancing in the middle class section of life, even with Jim Crow rules over top of it, more so than the white middle class. So that means that now there's a difference in the spiritual practice than between then. So to me, overall, no, I think that we have been infiltrated. I think that the thought process is to keep, you want to keep your nonprofit status as this tax, as this church. You say this is your leadership. I think there's an unseen hand, and I don't think that I think they're a far cry away from when it was the pressure of we got to work with each other because ain't nobody else coming. So I don't think right currently, maybe even over the last 30, 40 years, I don't really see it collectively operating the same way. And I don't see a way back from those areas. I think they're collectively doomed.
Oh, well, I would say the improper practicing of the religions is what's killing the communities. For example, I mean, even Muslims, Christians, none of them are actually practicing the principles of these books, especially, again, mentioning churches, etc. None of these churches are serving these communities. Where I live, we have about 400 churches in our hometown, no moves of God anywhere. And a lot of these, pastors, et cetera, they're becoming politicians in their communities. And a lot of these churches I mentioned before, they actually benefit financially from the communities being in turmoil. These churches apply for grants, et cetera. Like, oh, well, the community is in this condition. We need $1 million grant for this. So they'll get said grant and never fix it and apply for the same type of grant the next year. So it's like they're constantly benefiting from the community being in turmoil. I mean, what does it benefit, seriously for a church to have people that don't need them? So again, we have to look at those institutions like, are they actually trying to benefit the people? Then on top of that, they're who's teaching the people. So it's like they're thinking that this is how it's supposed to be. This is what our religion's supposed to be, because they're not reading their Bible for real. They're not actually going to go challenge their pastor. Their pastor's providing them a place to stay. Their pastor is, providing them a job at the church. It's like little stuff like that keeps things in control. Even mentioning again, like the improper schooling. There's no way we have so many churches and the kids can't read. It's insane. Why don't we have that happening at church? I've even said before, I don't think that church needs to be for anybody over the age of 33. That's why are y'all at church? There's no reason, nothing you can explain to me as to why we still preaching to anybody older than that. There's nothing we need to talk to y'all about. You 60-something years old, still in church. I don't care. Why are you there? If anything, we had this kid get killed, a drive-by shooting or whatever. Don't know who did it. I don't understand why we were at church on Sunday preaching about it. Why aren't we outside? The kids that we need at the church are outside playing on Sunday.
Right.
Why aren't y'all out there with them? I don't understand why we're at church. That makes no sense to me. At this point, with the conditions of our community right now, you cannot explain to me why we are at a church building looking at how terrible our communities look.
But we fresh in that joint though.
Fresh
in that
looking
joint,
great,
fresh.
Looking great. The purses, the shoes, the hats, all that. When you post this, and I'll post it on my page too, I need everybody to explain to me why are you at church when our communities look like they do? Because the people who need to be at the church are not there, and you ain't going to get them.
You brought up a great point, and I want to get back to it. I want to hear what RZA said. You brought up 2 great points I want to touch on. I want to hear RZA real quick.
Oh, y'all done set it off with this one, man. Yeah, this
It was getting kicked off the end of the day, bro.
It's gonna be beautiful. Oh man. First thing I'll say, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan has said all religion has failed.
Mhm.
Said it one more time. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said all religion has failed. End quote, because Satan has been successful at infiltrating all religions, starting with the top 3 monotheistic religions or Abrahamic faiths, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Although there may be people who do their best to practice certain principles, live their life out with certain principles, the collective clearly has not been as successful as they think. To the points of both of the brothers here, also to be incentivized to remain in a slave-like, victimized position has come through by ways of the FBI or faith-based initiative funding of churches, has come through by ways of only praying, not doing any actual work, only praying 5 times a day, face to the ground, not getting up, not changing your condition, not exercising, not providing any food, clothing, shelter, no jobs, no literacy programs, no drug education, none of that, but just praying, and Allah, God, the Most High, will do everything for you. And the other thing is, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan also mentioned that we should argue over religion after we're free. So the priority must be us getting to a level of freedom. That means we have the ability to change our condition. We have schools, we have hospitals, grocery stores. We have the ability to protect ourselves, defend ourselves. Our children are strong. Our finances are strong. Everything that we're doing is actually building the community rather than just praying, like I said, praying and hoping that some sky daddy, some random God is going to come out of nowhere to change our condition for us. And that's why also the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that my greatest followers are still in the streets. So we have to be in the street helping the people. It's literally, we saying the same thing. We add in different ingredients to this pot because the reality is, again, we can walk around and call ourselves whatever we want to call ourselves. But the Honorable Ms. Farrakhan has said, you are not what you profess, you are what you practice. So you can say whatever the hell you want to say, but what are you doing? And what we are doing is not enough to change our own condition.
And I want to go back to what King said in regards to church has a similarity to social media. I think the people in church feel fulfilled as if they're doing something because they speak in the safety of their own group, like social media, like you're posting, but you're not doing anything. So I think it's the same psychology that's taking place.
Because them neurons is fire.
Yeah.
When them neurons is firing, like if you hook somebody up in a sleep study, the thing that they think they do and the thing that they do, the same neurons fire off in their brain. So they feel like they did it. You mean?
It's that dopamine shot.